For as long as I've been into photography, I've been into camera bags. And over the past year or so, I've been kind of addicted to buying new camera bags. After owning some of the best bags from the most popular brands, there's a few things that I've noticed. And one of those things is that there's not a single bag that can work well in every single situation. And that's why there's a lot of different kinds of bags that you can get for different situations. And the type of bag that I've been obsessed with lately has been the everyday kind of camera bag. These are the kind of bags that you take to work or school or wherever you want to go and take your camera gear, but you want it to be convenient enough to where it doesn't get in your way or weigh you down. The 18-liter Nomatic and Peter Mckinnon bag was on my radar for a while until they had a sale a few months ago, and I grabbed one in the rust colorway. Now, I was really excited to get this bag because I have a few other Peter Mckinnon and Nomatic bags, and I loved those. But I was really struggling to find a bag in their lineup that suited my needs for being an everyday bag. I think this bag is for the on-the-go photographer, content creator, or really just anybody who wants to take around their camera gear to capture whatever it is that they get up to. But it has a few cons that I feel like get in the way of it being the perfect everyday camera bag for me. I'm about to tell you what those are, and hopefully Nomatic is watching this video so they can take those points into account in a future revision of this bag, possibly. A camera backpack needs to do a few things for me to even consider it being an everyday carry for me. It needs to be light, pretty good looking, and also be comfortable on my back. The 18-liter does most of these things with a few caveats. Let's start by talking about the weight. So this bag weighs in at 1.2 kilograms completely empty, and that's pretty light, right? When you put it up against another bag from Peter Mckinnon and Nomatic that I own, the 35-liter Peter Mckinnon and Nomatic bag, that bag weighs 2.6 kilograms completely empty. Now that's more than double. So this bag is relatively light. The other bag is, quite a bit bigger, but I don't need to take around every single lens and camera body when I want to just pop down to the shops or go to the store or, walk around my neighborhood. That's where a bag like this comes in. The weight to me makes it a lot more convenient to throw in my trunk, hop on the train or the bus, and go around town, and it doesn't weigh me down too much. And I think the material choice on this bag is what affords it to be so lightweight. Speaking of materials, Nomatic says that the bag is made out of a 900D polyox. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I know what that means, but the bag seems pretty durable, and it's got YKK zippers all around, so that aids in its ability to, keep water out and, just be a durable bag overall. The zippers are super easy to open and close in my opinion, and this was a major complaint of mine on the Peter Mckinnon 35-liter bag that I have, and the zippers on that thing are super hard to open and they're a pain in my ass. In terms of waterproofing though, I can't 100% prove that this bag has, X amount of waterproofing, but I can say that I spilled an entire 18-ounce water bottle in this bag in my trunk the other day when there was a water bottle inside the water bottle holder that had a leak. So the bag basically kept all my gear dry after that entire 18-ounce water bottle spilled on it. So for me, that's about as much waterproofing as I'm gonna need because I don't plan on taking this thing out in a hurricane. The Nomatic website says that this bag is water resistant, and that seems to be pretty true based on what I just told you. The bag has held up really well over the time that I've had it and taking it around town to go do some photography or using it to go in the woods and film videos like the one that you're watching right now. It's got no rips or tears, and it, for the most part, looks pretty much like it did when I took it out of the box when I initially bought it. If I was gonna buy this bag again though, I would probably change the color that I got it in. Now this rust colorway, like I said in the beginning, is a really great colorway, and I think it looked even better in person than it did on their website. However, it stains really easily. Initially, what drew me to this bag in the first place was the plethora of great colors that it comes in, including this rust colorway, and they're a lot different from all the other blacked out Spy Kids looking camera bags that are on the market. And I thought this one looked really great, and that was why I picked it up in this color. But as I'm gonna show you with some close-ups, it does tend to pick up dirt and grime pretty easily, especially on the light colored tan bits around the bag as well. The thing that really doesn't help this fact is that the bag opens up its main compartment from the rear, so the side that touches the ground when you open up the bag is the lightest and most stain prone part of the bag. One of the other colors that I really liked that was on the website was this colorway called Sage. It's sort of like a mint green color, and that was honestly my favorite, but I'm sort of glad that I went with this one because that color is even lighter, and since this one stains pretty easily, I imagine that one would have probably been even worse. If you're gonna get this bag, if you're gonna baby it, I would say it's okay for you to get one of these lighter colors, but if you're someone who's gonna use this, to throw around in the woods or whatever, I would probably steer you towards the black color. That leads me into the looks. The bag is thin and has a sleek profile, and it keeps its shape on your back even when it's fully packed out with gear. A lot of other bags in the market, when you put, as much weight as they will hold, basically, they start to sag and look really sad on the back. This one doesn't really have that problem. It's got the main compartment on the side that touches your back behind the straps. There's a 16-inch laptop slot in front of that fits my 14-inch MacBook Pro with a ton of room left over. On the left-hand side of the bag, there's a magnetic water bottle holder or tripod holder, and on the other side, there's a quick access door that leads to the main compartment. On the front, you can see the nylon webbing that goes along the bag. This lets you tie up accessories or tripods to the bag with the included bungee cord. And lastly, there's two outside pockets that are on the top/front of the bag. One that leads to a shelf that is in the main compartment, and a smaller pocket on top of that that's big enough for some keys and AirPods or maybe a wallet. I think that this bag looks really nice and has a pretty minimal look to it without screaming to the whole world that you've got thousands of dollars of camera equipment that you max your credit cards out on inside of your bag. But I do think that minimalism comes at the cost of some functionality though. And you can see that in the fact that this bag does not have a lot of pockets on it. I forgot to mention that this bag does have a luggage pass-through on the back, and it does have a chest strap on the straps as well. And that also reminds me that I'm not the biggest fan of this chest strap. It feels really flimsy, and the buckle is like a super cheap plastic, and it feels like it's gonna break one of these days. Now, let me show you how much you can fit in this thing. Opening up the main compartment, you can see that the bag is divided up with these Velcro dividers. They're kind of flimsy in my opinion compared to some other bags, but they do a decent job at keeping stuff safe and letting the bag keep its shape. Of course, you can move these around in any way you like to fit whatever gear you want to put in here. In terms of space, you can definitely fit 2 camera bodies in here, and definitely more if you're using gear that's on the smaller side like APS-C or smaller film SLR cameras. Up top, you can see that shelf from earlier I was telling you about that you can access from the top pocket, which I use a lot. I think this little shelf is super useful. On the other side, we have some zippered pockets, 2 at the top that are big enough to hold a large filter in its case, and then a large pocket down below that can hold a lot more. Now that you're looking at the inside of this bag, you can probably see a trend. There is not many pockets. 3 inside and 2 outside. There is not a ton of room for small stuff. This always makes me feel like I'm throwing stuff into the main compartment that I don't want to be there. And now, onto one of the most important things in my opinion for a camera bag, the comfortability. Is this bag comfortable or not? I think it's pretty good. If I had to put a number on it, probably 7.5 out of 10. Pretty decently comfortable, but I think they could make some improvements. The straps are pretty comfortable, although I do wish they were a little bit thicker, and they tend to feel pretty good on my shoulders after a few hours of me walking around and taking a bunch of photos that are only going to get liked by like 4 people on my Instagram, but nevertheless, it's good for that purpose. And if you're like me and you like to put Peak Design capture clips on the straps of your backpacks, these straps are thin enough to be able to accept those Peak Design capture clips. Although, I said it's thin enough, but it's also thick enough that you're going to need to use the extended screws that come with the Peak Design capture clips to widen it a bit to be able to fit over these straps, but it does fit. Now that's most of this bag covered, so I want to do a little recap of all my points so that you can tell what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'm going to give some feedback for what I think they could change in the future to hopefully make this bag a little bit better and put it higher up in my rotation in the future. Here's the stuff that I liked. The bag is lightweight and sturdy at the same time. It looks really minimal and comes in a bunch of cool colors. It's comfortable to wear with decent straps, and it holds a lot of gear for it only being 18 liters small. Here's the stuff that I didn't like. The bag really does not have a lot of pockets or storage outside of the main compartment. The chest strap and buckle feel flimsy as hell, and it feels like I'm gonna end up breaking them at some point. The materials feel a bit more cheap than some of the other bags from Nomatic that I own. And this one is kind of random, but I really hate when this bag is fully packed out with a laptop in the back because it doesn't stand up on its own when there's a laptop in the back. It will just fall over. To make this bag damn near perfect, Nomatic doesn't really need to add that much stuff, but a few things would be pretty nice. Excuse me while I look at my notes real quick. Another water bottle holder, maybe on the quick access door, would be great so that it has pockets on both sides for tripods and water bottles. A hidden passport pocket on the back of the bag behind the laptop slot will be cool as well, like a hidden pocket on the rear here. Some more pockets, please God, more pockets. And maybe throwing in a rain cover in the box would be nice. Some other brands that compete with this bag around the similar size as well and price throw rain covers in for free. I think they should probably throw in a rain cover for as much as this bag costs. So to wrap up before this video becomes any longer than it already is, this bag I think is great, honestly. It's a great bag, but it has a few cons that keep it from being the perfect everyday camera bag for me and ending my search for the best everyday camera bag. Hopefully the next one that I buy will be a bit better in some of the cons that this bag had to end my camera bag addiction, but probably not. So come back for my next video when I buy another bag to see if that one ends my search. No, you really should come back in like a month because I'm bound to buy another camera bag. I really can't help myself. Anyways, bye.